we return, we go into another conversation. Please stay with us.
Federal government of...
You're watching Good Morning Nigeria, and we're now ready for our second topic, because in Nigeria, millions of individuals are said to live with disabilities, facing unique challenges in accessing education, employment, healthcare, and social services. However, the Office of the Senior Special Assistant to President Tinubu on Special Needs and Equal Opportunities is working tirelessly to change this narrative.
Well, with a focus on empowerment and inclusivity, the office is implementing groundbreaking initiatives to bridge the gap between ability and disability, from accessibility infrastructure to inclusive education, employment opportunities, and social support systems. We'll explore, the progress being made and the challenges still to be overcome. We're now being joined in the studio by two gentlemen. And first, let me introduce Honorable Mohammed Abba Isa, who is Senior Special Assistant to the President on Special Needs and Equal Opportunities. Welcome to Good Morning Nigeria.
Thank you so much for having me.
And also joining us is Steve Rustick. I hope I got that right.
Yeah, you did.
He's the EZE, National Coordinator of Beyond Disability Projects.
Yeah,
so we're glad to have you join us too.
Thank you.
Welcome.
All right, let's bite into this. What's the vision of your office, the Office of the SSA to the President on Special Needs and Equal Opportunities, and how does this fit into the agenda of the President?
Thank you so much for having me. Once again, good morning, Nigerian persons with disability. Achieving equal opportunity for persons with disability require a kind of multi-faceted approach. And if you look at statistically, persons with disability, they are most vulnerable people in the society in terms of anything, even in terms of catastrophe, in terms of disaster. Persons with disability, they are at 10L. That is the reason why President Bola Ahmed Tinubu, under his wisdom, under his passionate, he created the Office of Persons of Senior Special Assistant on Special Need and Equal Opportunity. And he mandated me and gave me a marching order to make sure that I liaise with the ministry, department, agencies of government, civil society organization, traditional institution, development partners, organization of persons with disability, to make sure their policy plan is in calculation with the requirement and perspective of persons with disability. That is the essence why Mr. President created office. He wants to see that persons with disability are carried them in all ramifications of the government. And apart from that, he supports the office with the legal backing by the signing an instrument of law, that is African Charter of Demand, in order to align Nigeria with the other global country. So you can see the reason why my office came on board, to make sure there is fully representative, equal opportunity to every citizen, regardless of our disability. That is the essence why he created this office. And apart from that, Mr. President also give a marching order. We are expecting very soon that he is going to sign the executive order of that bill. The office is almost 6 months so far. We have gone far in creating awareness to make sure that all the requirement or all the quota, and to make sure that all the building is accessible. We have what is called Discrimination Against Persons with Disability Prohibition Act that former President Muhammadu Buhari assented into law. And the grace period given to all the MDS to modify their building to become accessible and to create any environment to persons with disability has been fast. We are now in the implementation stage. And how are we going to realize this implementation stage? By imposing compliance. Why? Because ignorance of law is not an excuse. The grace period, it has fast now 5 years. We're moving. So my office, we are collaborating with all the MDS, together with the National Commission for Persons with Disability, to make sure that all this policy has been implemented. Why? Because very soon our people, they will start going to court, and we don't like that thing. Apart from the Office of Senior Special Assistant to Mr. President, apart from the National Commission for Persons with Disability, apart from the Sustainable Development Goals, with all these indices, still persons with disability are facing challenges.
Yes.
Why? That is the reason why we came out with this summit. And if you look at the theme of the summit, is addressing discrimination against persons with disability towards multifaceted approach. So we need an effective collaboration for us to achieve the Renew Hope agenda of President Bola Ahmed Tinubu. The Renew Hope agenda of President Bola Ahmed Tinubu is giving hope to the masses. And if you look at the 8-point agenda, it's all inclusive.
Yes.
Eradicating poverty and hunger, creating job employment. Yeah. If you align all these key indices, it's in line with the discrimination against persons with disability, and we have gone far.
Yes, you've gone far. We've been watching you on TV, meeting with other disability organizations, advocacy groups, so that you can bring a lot of awareness to the plight of people living with disability. Let me bring in Mr. Rustic into the conversation now. How is the engagement like with government, with disability organizations and advocacy groups to ensure that the needs and concerns of persons with disability are being addressed? Because when we talk about equal opportunities for people with disability, it requires a multifaceted approach, just like the essay said. So how is your collaboration like with them?
Well, so far so good. The collaboration is going on well. As you can see, Mr. President have appointed a senior special assistant on special need and equal opportunity, and have given him the mandate to liaise with every sector that matters to change, that will better the life of persons with disability. And that's why him, in his own wisdom, he initiated this project, Beyond Disability Project. The project simply means, without speaking much grammar, end of the time for sympathy, expressing sympathy towards persons with disability, but now is the time of empathy and support towards persons with disability. It equally means teaching them how to fish and not giving them fish. Yeah, so if you watch, we have number of beggars on the street, but I can tell you that all these beggars you're seeing on the street, if you bring them together, enhance the talents they have in them, you find out they will become self-reliant. You will not see the person on the street anymore. But if you keep going to give them money, they will continue coming to look for money. But once person have a handwork, skills, the person becomes self-reliant. So in this regard, the Office of the Senior Special Assistant through the Beyond Disability Project is about to unleash a whole initiative of talent development that's empowering persons with disability through talent and skills. Since we've started this project, I've been able to witness number of talented persons with disability. Sometimes I used to wonder, does it mean that God, even these people, deposited stuff like this in them? I've seen musicians who are very great, that when you harness this talent, you manage them very well, they are going to become, you're going to be proud of them, they will make the country proud. And you know that developing talent is just like mineral resources. It's only when you discover it, then you develop it, that it becomes useful. So such is talent that is deposited in a man. And there is no man that doesn't have a talent. We have over 2,000 that we've already, during our research program, gathered 2,000 persons with disability that are well talented. I just left them this night. They finished their rehearsal for what they are going to do at the banquet hall. No, this morning.
Oh, it's this morning?
Yes, they will rehearse till very late at night and they are sleeping now. I will tell you that if you watch these people, you'll be wowed at the kind of talent they have in them.
Right.
And if government and the society give attention towards this, we're going to make a very positive nation.
All right. Thank you very much, Steve Eze. Let me get back up to the SSA, to Mr. President Abaisa. It's a good thing, you know, that your conference is trying to address discrimination against people with disabilities. But what support systems are in place for caregivers and families of persons with disabilities, and how can they access these resources?
Thank you so much. You know, there is need for vertical and horizontal governance alliance. We have some challenges in that in terms of policy implementation. The reason why I'm saying that, we are proud to be Nigerians. In the West Africa, we have a regional meeting with the ECOWAS ministers in charge of disability inclusion in their country, and analysis showed that there is almost 65 million persons living with different form of disability in West Africa. But in that 65 million, Nigeria, we are 35.1 million. Look at this number, 35. The number of persons with disability in Nigeria is even enough to be 2 to 3 countries. And you can see how we cannot afford to lose that people. It's a huge number. And if you can, like Nigeria also, among these ECOWAS country, Nigeria were number 1 in terms of policy implementation. We have National Commission for Persons with Disability in Nigeria, in which some of the country they don't have. If you come to the institutional framework, the political party, we have our members from the national to state to the zonal up to the grassroots, incorporating the both the major party. And Nigeria are one of the signatories that signed the United Nations Convention of Rights of Persons with Disability. And Convention of Rights of Persons with Disability is an article that is talking about the issue affecting persons with disability, and any country that signed this bill is obligated to implement what is in that framework. We are proud Nigeria, they are part of the country that signed that. And if you come to the state level, we have almost getting to 20 or 21, if I'm not mistaken. The states that they have law, they have established a structure, a commission that will be safeguarding the life of persons with disability. And we have a UN committee member that was elected. He's from Nigeria also. The linkage of the convention and the sustainable development goal is in line with the renewal agenda of President Bola Ahmed Tinubu, and is also in line with the 8-point agenda of Beyond Disability project.
Okay. So what do you intend to achieve by this summit? Because there's a call for legal framework, a legal protection for people living with disabilities. We've seen what happened recently at the airports, both in Maiduguri and in Lagos, you know, with people living with disabilities. What are you going to advocate for a legal framework for the protection of people living with disabilities?
Thank you so much for this great question. We already have a legal framework as a center, but the issue is that implementation issue. And how are we going to achieve this is what we are even organizing this interministerial and subnational summit, whereby we engage the engageable, the duty bearers, the policy makers, so that to tell them that there is existing law. If you discriminate persons with disability, you will go to court and there is sanction on it.
Is there a penalty?
There is a penalty, it's a law. And this law, but with this, President Bola Ahmed Tinubu is going to sign an executive order in order to trigger the the bill. That is the extent why I'm telling you that there is a need for vertical and horizontal governance in alliance of the policy. Some of the people, they are ignorant about the policy. Most of the challenges that we are facing, if you confront them through advocacy, they will say they are not aware. But we cannot continue facing challenges day in day, stopping our people to board a plane from various airports. So what we are trying to do is, my office in collaboration with the National Commission for Persons with Disability, we are going to come out with the Presidential Accessibility Task Force Committee, which Mr. President will going to inaugurate this committee. And this committee is a full structure whereby it compasses all the MDS representatives, and even architecture, development designer, all of them will be in that committee. And we're going to do a kind of accessibility audit. We're going to start with you, NTA. If you see your building is not even accessible, see the way how I even managed to even come to.
It is actually.
It is.
You could have been brought to.
There is one thing we call cosmetic accessibility. What this means is that you'll provide a ramp outside, but if you come to the entrance or a restroom, you can see it's not even accessible. So that's the extent that conducting accessibility audit to see the area where you have gap in fulfilling the obligation and the mandate and the requirement and consensus of persons with disability. So we are going to have a task force, and that's what we'll going to impose compliance to make sure that all these MDS and other relevant body implement that law. And that's the essence of coming out with this summit, to sensitize them, so that by the time when they go back, they can step down the generation.
Indeed, government is making quite a number of efforts. But again, I'm trying to see here where the private sector comes in. So I'll be asking Rustic Eze, what role the private sector and civil society can play in supporting the government's efforts to promote inclusivity and equal opportunities for persons with disabilities.
Well, the awareness for inclusivity for persons with disability is everyone's business, including all of us here. It is time we look into that law. That law also will be officially launched today. It's called the Golden Law. That's the 2018 Discrimination Act. The 5 years of grace has elapsed. So it is a clarion call for every Nigerian, including the private sector, the civil society organization, the media, all hands on deck to promote this this law, the awareness, create awareness for this law, so that persons with disability will feel belong in the society where they belong. The law also have an aspect of employment, 5% for persons with disability, and anybody who disobeys this law will face some legal punishment, either by going to jail, or you pay a certain amount of money. So it is the work, the responsibility of every Nigerian to create awareness and to abide by this law.
Okay, indeed, to abide by the law. Essay, is your program going to be live?
Yes, we're expecting.
And who is a part of the program itself?
Where is the program holding?
Where is it holding and where?
The program is today, less than 1 hour to go.
Okay.
And we are engaging with the ministers, we are engaging with the executive directors, we are engaging with traditional institutions. Why? Because if you look at, you can't do anything without traditional leaders. The traditional leaders, they are the custodian of the people. We are partnering with them. Why? Because they are the one that they will give you first-hand information in regard to the issue of person with disability. And Mr. President mandated me also to collaborate with them. They are also part of the program. The development partners, civil society organization, all of these critical stakeholders, let me put it in that way, all of them, they are going to attend this summit, and that is the essence of creating awareness. Why? Because achieving equal opportunity cannot be a one-man job. we need an effective collaboration so that everybody can play his role, can play his task in order to achieve. You cannot achieve anything, your goal or vision, in operating in isolation. So that is the essence why I'm calling every individual development partner that our office is open for collaboration, and our office is connected to 774 local government. We have structure for persons with disability in various categories. We have what we call Joint National Association of Persons with Disability in Nigeria. 36 states, they have their chairmanship, and almost we have different 6 to 7 categories of persons with disability, visually impaired, deaf, albinism, and other. And all these people, they have their structure, they have their leadership. So we are collaborating with them in order to change the narrative, to make sure that we achieve the Renewed Hope agenda of President Bola Ahmed Tinubu, which is all inclusive.
Okay. Honorable Mohammed Abba Isa, Senior Special Assistant to the President on Special Needs and Equal Opportunities. It's been a pleasure hosting you on Good Morning Nigeria today, and we wish you well.
Thank you so much, my sister.
Mr. Steve Rustic Eze, National Coordinator of Beyond Disability Project. Thank you so much for coming, and we hope to watch your singers later on in the day to see how it goes. Thank you so much for coming on Good Morning Nigeria. And that has been how it's been on Good Morning Nigeria today, the first for the week. Thanks for joining. I am Jumwe Yusuf.
And I'm Victor Azu. Enjoy the rest of your day.